empty wagon with a slave stumbling behind it. But in Kershaw County, people minded their own business. If they were white, Jardine raised his straw hat, showed his teeth, and shouted, "Good day!" If they were black, he just didn't see them. While they were waiting for the mule ferry on the Wateree River, Jardine looked over his new purchase. There were some new skinless patches on his knees and chest, and long red streaks where the cuffs had raked his wrists, but nothing serious. Jardine took a long drink of cool water from the earthenware jar in the wagon. Then he filled another gourd and held it up to the slave. "What did you say to me back there?" When once again the man failed to answer, Jardine poured the water on the ground and went back to waiting for the ferry. The loudest sound was the deep, gasping breaths of the slave. From the long veranda of the Three Rivers plantation, Nancy Jardine, 22 years old, more striking than pretty, and just beginning to show her third month of pregnancy, saw the cloud of dust moving down the road from the turnpike. She reached for the brass telescope in its holder on a fluted wooden pillar and put it to her eye. As she had anticipated, it was Jardine. But she hadn't expected to see a black man shambling behind his wagon. The man fell and Jardine stopped the wagon. Nancy watched until he slowly got up and stood head down. When the wagon started up again, she closed the telescope, saying under her breath, "Boyd, you damned fool." When Nancy got down to the cotton barn, Jardine was already off the wagon, and, with Big Mo standing close by, had broken the chain between the slave's cuffs and nailed each half to the barn door. The man stood between them, spread-eagle and facing the door. With the slim buggy whip in his right hand, Jardine asked again, "What did you say to me back there?" The new slave, completely red with dust caked on sweat, turned his head to the side, closed his eyes, leaned heavily against the barn door, and gasped. He didn't say a word. As he stepped back and raised the whip, Jardine sensed Nancy standing behind him. He knew that no matter what he said, she wouldn't go away. He felt surrounded by silent adversaries. Bringing the light whip down harder than he'd intended, Jardine heard in rapid sequence the crack of the whip on the man's back, his stifled grunt, and the thump of his big chest hitting the barn door. He saw a spurt of blood as the rawhide broke open a recent welt. He also heard a disapproving intake of breath from Nancy. Pride barely satisfied, Jardine threw the whip to Mose. "Get him down and have Dulcie see to those scrapes. Bed him down in the long shed. I'll have a look at him in a few days." Turning around, he feigned surprise at seeing his young wife. "Hello, darling," he said. "What are you doing down here in all this dirt?"
"I just wanted to come welcome you home, dear,"
she said with a double-edged smile. "Come," she added, taking his slim but masculine hand.
"I've got a pitcher of lemonade on the veranda and a real treat. Ice. Hurry before it all melts."
On the veranda in the relative cool of a late June afternoon, Jardine took the glass of lemonade from his wife, sat down on a wicker chair, and pulled her into his lap. "My God," he said, "that baby must weigh a ton already."
"Thank you."